I am so sure we're going to go back to this time and say, it was a great opportunity. I've been here. Napanood ko na po ang sining ito. Hello mga ka-RFF, kamusta po kayo? I hope you, your family, and loved ones are all doing well. You know, I'm often asked this question, Rex, paano bang kumita sa stock market? Paano bang kumita sa aking mga investments? Di ba po, simpleng-simple ang sagot dyan. Buy low, sell high. Mag-invest ka habang mura, at pag tumaas na mga presyo, saka ka dapat magbenta. Easier said than done. Andali pong sabihin, ang hirap sundin. Lalong-lalo na, we are in a situation like this, a pandemic, markets are down. Para pong lahat ng tao hindi makapag-isip kung tama pa bang mag-invest ako ngayon o maghintay na muna ako when things get better. That's the reason why I really want to be able to answer this. Kasi po, may approaches naman talaga eh. The longer video to watch would be my videos on fundamental analysis. But that's too much of a mouthful. Medyo aabutin po tayo ng almost 2 hours doon. So parang sa ngayon, dahil alam ko na maraming nagtatanong, alam kong maraming interesado, gusto ko po siguro sa isang maikling video gaya nito, a snippet, just to give you a taste of the way things should be done, the way we should think better, so that we put ourselves in a great position to do very well on our investment track. At doon naman po sa mga interesado who really want to drill down into the details, balikan po natin yung mga video yon at ilalagay po namin dito ang mga link just in case you do have the time and the interest for those. Pero paano ba talaga tayo makabibili ng mura? Kailan ba nagiging mura ang investment or ang stocks? At kailan ba natin pwedeng sabihin na mahal sila? Again, it's all based on fundamental analysis. Hindi ko po sinasama dito muna ang technical analysis because technical analysis is a totally different field altogether. Ang pinag-uusapan po natin dito talagang actual values. Now, I will not say that technical analysis doesn't work. I really believe it. In fact, I use it. I learn from people like Marvin Germo. I follow certain people who are really good at this because I am not a technical expert as them. But on the fundamental analysis side, yan naman po area natin. Nagturo nga po ako ng computational finance sa graduate school ng De La Salle. 'Di ba? So, maaari pong sabihin ko na medyo may konti akong eksperyensya at kaalaman dyan. At hindi lang po theoretical. Alam naman ng marami sa inyo, naging kahit papano, fund manager din ako when I managed Philam Asset Management, when I actually went through certain small and big portfolios in my career. Kahit papano po, nagkaroon ako ng eksperyensya to handle direct investing as well. So, karamihan ang akala mura o mahal. Ang una pong maling iniisip ng marami, yung mura, it's because of the absolute value. Absolute values or prices don't actually mean anything. Sabi nga po, stock A, 50 centavos, stock B, 10 pesos. Ibig sabihin ba, mas mahal yung 10 pesos dito sa 50 centavos? Hindi. So, absolute prices have nothing to do with it. Kailangan po nakabase yung presyo dun sa binibili mo. Ibig sabihin, price vis-a-vis what you're buying. Pwede pong mas mahal ang 50 centavos sa 10 piso sigun dun sa binibili nating stock or technically, kumpanya. So the other people look at, again, another side of basics. Ang tinitingnan naman po nila, book value. Ano ibig sabihin ng book value? Yung lahat ng ari-arian, yung lahat ng assets ng isang kumpanya. Tanggalin natin lahat ng pagkakautang, lahat ng liabilities, kung ano man yung maging halaga na yun. Hati-hatiin mo sa lahat ng shares ng kumpanya, yun ang tinatawag na book value. Yung ba po efficient and effective sa pagsasabi na talagang yun ang value ng kumpanya? Mari pong sasabihin ko, baka yun ang tinatawag nating floor. Floor po kasi marami pang hindi considered sa book value. For example, minsan po hindi nahuhuli sa book value yung value ng brand. Yung value ng brand, minsan po ang merkado tumitingin at tumitingala sa brand. So much so na kahit ang produkto ng kumpanyang to ay pareho ng produkto ng ibang kumpanya, maaaring mas binibigyan ito ng premium, mas binibigyang halaga ng ibang tao. So hindi yun nakaka-capture sa book value. Pangalawa po, other than brand, yung organisasyon, yung mga tao. Siyempre minsan sa isang kumpanya, nando nagsama-sama ang mga dalubhasa ng industriyang yon. Lahat magagaling. So technically, they will have the capability to make money for that company. So hindi po pare-pareho ang assets, pare-pareho na yung value kasi syempre iba-iba yung taong nagpapatakbo. Minsan, kahit pareho ang assets, parehong resources, pag magagaling yung team na nandito, mas makakagawa po yan ng value over time. So very important po na isipin natin na itong mga tinatawag nating qualitative factors are also included in our analysis. Number 3, ang sabi po ng iba, isa sa pinakamagandang determinant ng value ay ang earnings. Yan po, medyo maganda ng usapan yan. Kasi binibili mong kumpanya, anong binibili mo? Yung capacity niya to earn. Not just today, but for the future. Now, we're really getting into the idea of intrinsic value. Kasi yung capacity ng isang kumpanya para kumita ay talagang nagbibigay ng value niya as a company. So pag binili mo yon, may access ka at matatanggap mo yung earnings niya for the future. Pero tama na ba yun? Hindi pa din eh. Tama na ba na sabihin nating malaking kumita ang isang kumpanya? Paano ang tendency niyang kumita for the future? So we're not talking about just today. Sa hinaharap din, kaya niya bang ulit-ulitin yan? Sometimes companies sell themselves down the road. Ang ganda po ng sales, ang ganda po ng margins, ang ganda ng kita ngayon. Pero kung sisilipin nyo how that engine works, alam natin na hindi sustainable. So kung pwede, huwag tayong tumaya sa mga kumpanyang ganyan. Meron pa hong extra discussion dito. How about growth? Maaring yung pricing ngayon, mataas dahil yung earnings mababa. Diba? Ang ginagawa po ng iba dito, price-earnings ratio. Mababa pa yung earnings. Pero ang hindi nakikita ng marami, mabilis ang kanyang growth rate. Malakas ang kanyang growth rate. So kahit maliit pa yung earnings niya ngayon, pero ang kanyang rate of growth mataas, madali siyang magiging mura in so short a time. And that's the reason why from today and when that time happens, dapat nakapwesto na tayo. Dapat isipin natin yung price-earning multiple, baka kailangan taasan natin kasi may growth siya eh. On the other hand, ang flip side din naman po niyan, lalong-lalo ng importante sa mga panahong ganito, nagbabayad ba ng dividendo? Kasi hindi lang importante yung kinikita, dinidistribute ba niya? Marami po sa atin ngayon, nagbibigay ng malaking importansya sa dividends because of the situation today and because interest rates are low and companies can provide us a certain level of dividends. We put a lot of premium on those kasi para tayong nakataya pa din sa bangko, parang may fixed income ka sa dividendo, pero meron ka pa ring sakay sa future capital appreciation. Pero alam niyo po, ang kompletong discussion talaga ay yung tinatawag na intrinsic value calculation. When we look at intrinsic value calculation, we're looking at the total picture. Tinitingnan natin dito yung total worth ng kumpanya, which means we look at assets, we look at debts and liabilities, we look at, most importantly, the cash it can generate well into the future. So, assets minus debts and liabilities, but also including and most importantly, the cash that it can generate well into the future. Hindi lang profits, cash po. discounted to this current time. Ayan po, medyo technical na ang valuation na yan. But let me try and simplify this in a generalized way so that we get to appreciate it. Kasi po, bawat kumpanya may assets and liabilities eh. And every year, a company tries to create value in its business, generating certain profits. Pero actually, part of those profits po hindi naman cash eh. When you're really looking at intrinsic valuation, ano ba ang relevant sa atin? It's the cash we will receive at the time we will receive it. Meaning, kung 3 years pa nating makukuha yung cash, dapat i-discount natin to today using a certain interest hurdle rate. Ayan, another technical discussion there. Pero importante lang, nakikita nyo yung idea. Which means, medyo intricate ang ating computation if we really like to look at intrinsic values. Pero alam nyo po, hindi na natin kailangan gawin yan eh. Tingnan nyo na lang yung researches ng mga brokers. May mga gumagawa na po ng ganito eh. So i-compare lang natin at masinop lang natin tingnan how they were able to do it. But I guess this whole thing gets me to the core when I get to discuss an example. An example of intrinsic value. Kasi lalong-lalo na, alam po ng marami, I'm a director of Ayala Land. Siyempre, nung bumabagsak ang presyo ng Ayala Land, much like bumabagsak ang presyo ng ibang property companies at ibang kumpanya, mga stocks sa ating Philippine Stock Exchange, siyempre tinatanong nila ako, Rex, ano bang value ng Ayala ngayon? Bakit ang baba ng presyo? You know, the market will not be correct all the time. But it is correct in a sense that at this particular prices, people are willing to let go of their shares and people are buying those shares. So hindi natin pwedeng sabihing mali yung presyo dahil at that price, nagkasundo ang dalawang partido to sell and buy the stock. So para sa kanilang dalawa, tama yung presyong yun. Pero as an investor, looking at this over the long term, is it really the right price? Ayan, kaya kailangan balikan natin, yan ba talaga dapat ang intrinsic value ni Ayala Land? Or baka clouded naman ang vision natin at pumapasok yung tinatawag na negative sentiment, which drives the law of supply and demand. So syempre, pag may negative sentiment, mas maraming supply, maraming nagbebenta, konti ang bumibili, bababa ang presyo. But if you look at Ayala Land as the company, did it change from the company it was yesterday or a week ago? So bakit nagbabago at bilyon-bilyon ang na-erase sa value pag bumababa ang market at bilyon-bilyon din ang nadadagdag sa value pag umaakit ang market? Eh, hindi naman nagbabago yung kumpanya. But over time, its prospects change. I accept that. Siyempre, maaring worried tayo sa kanilang mga opisina dahil baka mamaya work from home na ang mga tao, hindi na daw babalik. Talaga? Or maring takot din tayo dahil 'di ba meron silang resorts and hotels. At ang may resorts and hotels obviously hindi kumikita ngayon. Pangatlo, meron din issue lalong-lalo na sa mga malls. Eh wala po tayo sa mga malls eh. 'Di ba nakakulong tayo sa mga bahay natin ngayon? Baka kaya yan ang nagdadala ng sentimiento kung bakit ganun ang pricing ng Ayala Land at ng ibang property conglomerates in the country. Pero pag tiningnan po natin, balikan natin ang intrinsic value, magbabago ang ating pakiramdam. Isipin nyo, ano ba ang assets ni Ali? Ano ang assets ng iba't ibang property conglomerates? Balikan po natin sila. Siyempre, ako po, ang alam ko Ayala Land dahil ito naman public, hindi ko lang alam kung nabasa nyo sa aming annual reports. Sabi, ang Ayala Land po, 29 mixed-use estates, 57 growth centers at 5 ang industrial estates. At ang land bank, over 12,000 hectares. Most of which are in the most prime areas of the metropolis. Most prime areas of major cities. Siyempre, nangunguna na po dyan, Makati at BGC. Sa tingin nyo, pag nabakunahan na ang marami-raming tao at tumapang na uli tayo at tayo'y lumalabas na, ano kaya ang tingin natin sa growth and industrial centers na ito? Ano kaya ang tingin natin sa negosyo at assets ng Ayala Land? Magbabago ba? Siyempre po magbabago ang pananaw. Pero yung assets, yung pa rin ang nandyan. Yung management team na nagpapatakbo ng kumpanya, yung pa rin ang nandyan. Will they create value in the future? Much like they've created value in the past. Maari pong hindi sila nagkikreate ng same value today because of our situation. But given the opportunity, will they unleash this same expertise to do the game over and over again? And more importantly, pivot the business so that they can take advantage of certain trends. Aren't they in the best position to do all of this? At tatandaan po natin, nandyan ang kanilang residential business. Sila rin ang may-ari ng pinakamalaking construction and development company ngayon. Nandyan ang kanilang mga logistics and warehouses, which wasn't a business before, and other lines like offices, industrial parks. And I said it earlier, the brands Ayala Land Premier, Alveo, Avida, Amaya, Bellavita. In every facet of that marketplace, almost every segment, these are the brands to reckon with. And when markets recover, aren't they all going to recover? Tandaan po natin, no matter how bad the COVID-19 pandemic is, no matter how frustrating it has been, it will come to pass. This situation will come to pass. We probably might not be able to say this year mababakunahan na ang marami. Maring next year. O dun sa mga naysayers dan, pwedeng 2023 pa matapos ang pagbabakuna. But it will happen. If you have long-term goals that will be there for over 3 to 5 years, maybe it's really going to be a great time to invest today. A great time to invest selectively, pinpointing the kind of investments we need to put our money in. So much so that you have the chance to pick what you're going to be holding on to for the next number of years. And if you think you don't have the heart and the patience to analyze and to work on it, maybe you can get down to manage funds who will all hold the best companies in their portfolio to move forward. Ang importante po, nakataya na kayo sa tamang panahon. I am so sure we're going to go back to this time and say it was a great opportunity. I've been here. Napanood ko na po ang sining ito nung 1999, year 2000, at nung 2011 at 2012. Ano sinasabi ng marami kong kaibigan? Sayang, Rex, ano? Dapat pala nag-invest ako nung Asian financial crisis at nung global financial crisis. Pero nung sinabi nila yon, bumalik na ang mga presyo, nagsitaasa na. And here we are again. And still, people not buying low so that they can sell high. Because of our emotions, there are times when we sell low because natatakot tayo, and we buy high because mas matapang na tayo when the time comes. And that is the reason why 90% of people who trade still lose money at this day and age. Parang relevant na relevant po dyan yung kantang Di Na Natuto. And for many of you, probably the best answer is to get ourselves into managed funds run by the professionals. There might be fees. I'm not going to discount that fact. It's true, but sometimes I'd rather pay the fee because I admit that I won't have the time and the interest to do it. I have other things to do and other things that are more enjoyable and more important to me. But I am not going to be less responsible for my financial future. So para po sa marami sa inyo, ang obligasyon, ang trabaho, dapat ay mag-invest. And when we do that on a continuous basis and we get the right habits, we are going to be fulfilling our financial dreams. I hope this short discussion put a lot of insights so that sa pag-aagam-agam po natin, at the very least, we come up with the right considerations to become more confident in taking positions at this opportune time. Again, this is Rex Mendoza from Ramper Financials. I wish you all the very best. Stay safe po and blessings always.